This next story paints a picture of how the child welfare system can be harmful to black families. What started as a routine traffic stop is now a custody battle for one Georgia couple. In February, the couple and their 5 children got pulled over while traveling through Tennessee. Police say the stop was because of dark-tinted windows and driving in the passing lane. And during a vehicle search, the police found 5 grams of marijuana, which in Tennessee is a misdemeanor. The dad was arrested and the mother received a citation. Without the parents' knowledge, the state's Department of Child Services got an emergency court order to put their children in state custody while their mother waited for her partner to place bail. The children's ages range from 4 months to 7 years old. More than a month later, this couple still doesn't have their children back. The next hearing in court is scheduled for April 18th. Joining me now for an analysis of the child welfare system and what this all means is Professor Dorothy Roberts. She is a professor of law and sociology at the University of Pennsylvania. She's also the author of the book Torn Apart: How the Child Welfare System Tears Apart Black Families. Dorothy, I want to welcome you to theGrio, and I want to thank you for talking about this topic, which for me is complicated and messy and frankly strange. I mean, when did parents start losing their children over a misdemeanor traffic charge?
Well, Black parents lose custody of their children to foster care for a whole range of minor negligent behavior or drug use, or sometimes just losing track of their children, straying away in the park, a so-called messy house, for the needs, unmet needs of their children, for a whole range of behavior that can be deemed unfit, to make them unfit parents by child welfare workers. More than half of Black children in America will be subjected to a child welfare investigation by the time they reach age 18. And
Wow.
More than 10% will be, at some point during their childhoods, removed from their homes and put in substitute
Can
care.
you repeat that first number? Because I don't want that to pass by the audience. What percentage of parents? Yeah, what's the percentage?
53%, so more than half of Black children in America, will experience a child welfare investigation before they reach age 18. There are millions of investigations every year, and Black children are far more likely to be subjected to them and put in foster care than other children in America, other than Indigenous children. These are the two groups that are targeted the most by what's called the child welfare system. I call it a family police. Children are taken for a whole range of reasons, mainly because of unmet material needs, but also for drug use by parents and just frivolous things. In my book, Torn Apart, I started with a story of a Black family that was at a picnic and the toddler strayed away for a minute. A stranger called the police and the mother gets a citation for child abuse and ends up with police officers, 7 police officers coming to her home, hog-tying her and carrying her out the home and taking her to the hospital because they dislocated her shoulder in the meantime. Mothers get reported because they report that they are survivors of domestic violence. There are cases where children are taken because of a positive drug test as a newborn, or because of so-called medical neglect or educational neglect. These are vague charges, and it gives child welfare agencies this really wide range of potential allegations that could be made by police officers, teachers, doctors, or just anonymous calls to a child abuse hotline. And the response of the child welfare agency is to accuse, investigate, and again, in the case of Black families, to very often take children from their homes forcibly and put them in substitute care. In this case, the mother was waiting to find out what was happening with her husband who had been charged with a misdemeanor. And as you said, unbeknownst to her, the child welfare agency was called in and got this emergency order to take the children
This is this
and
and this is
take
this is
them
mind
from
blowing.
her.
I apologize. I apologize,
Yeah.
Dr. Roberts. We're
No.
out of time, but you're pointing to the system and the dysfunction of it and how we're overrepresented in it. Your book, Torn Apart, breaks us down brilliantly. I encourage everyone to buy it. This is something that we must monitor. Everybody